Welcome back to the Real Story channel. I want to tell you that my story is very much a tragedy, unlike all the others. All of it started with a beautiful day when my parents decided to have a seaboat and change the country of living to give a new life for them and for me. I was born a little baby when they made this decision of their lives. The first day went smooth, feeling happy that they are finally going to start fresh. But little did they anticipate that it would be their last trip. The following night, black clouds started covering the sky, and before we knew it, there was a heavy rainstorm and gale followed, shaking the ship so hard it's hard to be steady. All were panicking, but slowly the ship starts to break and sink. I was crying in my mother's arms, and she was whispering in my ears that my child, everything will be all right. She put a cloth on me and safely placed me on the wooden rack. I was crying heavily, and the boat was preparing to drown. One by one, people started drowning, a very terrible look. All hope was away, and at a far distance, a mermaid was watching everything, not able to do much for the salvation of the ship. Though when she heard the cry of my baby, her heart softened, and she decided to come to my help. After all, she couldn't leave a baby all by itself in such a storm. She gave me her necklace and took me underwater. I was able to breathe in the water with the help of the necklace's magic. Her name was Queen T, the queen of the secret mermaid city, and she had no own child. That is why she had mercy upon me. She was taking me with her to the city of the mermaids, swimming there. She was hiding my legs from the guards and went to the palace where her husband, King Rashid, had gone. She explained to him how the ship looked and that I was the only survivor. I was in a helpless situation and had no place to go. There was an ocean in the middle. She told him basically that was his anger, and instantly his answer had a negative sign. No, for he was at war with mankind for centuries. I didn't trust them. I heard my scream, so he came to shut me up. I looked at him and started laughing, holding his finger. His heart softened, and he agreed with Queen T, but one condition: she will have to keep on wearing a tail all her life. No one knows whose kid it is, and she need not know her identity herself. We will make it so that they consider her our daughter. The kingdom finally got its princess, but they believe it was long overdue. King Rashid was the one to arrange for me a tail. I'm going to wear it for the rest of my life. I grew up with the company of mermaids, hiding the same secret and always wanting to know more. Why was I different? My parents had never shown such signs, but kind of thinking I put down. Maybe they knew something that I didn't. You see, I was different, and while the merfolk swam with stylish tails, I had to kick with a fake one. Not always easy swimming like that, but I really had good friends. They really took care of me. Life was pretty magical in the mermaid city. I learned to speak their melodious language, to sing like whales, and to dance like currents. It was a pretty happy, but not quite free upbringing. Growing a little bit older, the question always bubbled up to the surface like air. Why do I have legs and my parents have tails? Why should I hide them? It made my insides feel as turbulent as the current around me. I was in a swirling mood, a storm of frustration and curiosity, more particularly from where I really came. Every time I asked my mom about my dad, she always dodged this question or would get sad. Therefore, I made the decision not to disturb my mother and instead searched through the documents myself. I enjoyed reading, so I spent most of my time in libraries, hiding among the stacks of books. It was there that I stumbled upon something quite intriguing: pictures of creatures with 2 legs, similar to my own. Since that moment, these monsters have comfortably roamed the earth, causing chaos and corrupting both the lands and the sea. They couldn't survive underwater, and that's why the mermaids always hid from them. I was shocked by everything that I discovered. It was all jumbled up in one place. Without informing my parents, I left my home and started traveling across the vast ocean. I knew they would worry, so I left them a note promising a swift return. As I ventured deeper, I eventually came across a sunken ship. It had an eerie yet silent presence, like the ghostly remnants of another time. Among the debris, I found something that caught my attention, pictures of me as a baby with unfamiliar people. It was a moment of revelation and deep realization. I had always loved and cherished the ocean and its inhabitants, but I couldn't allow any of them any space at all. That's when I made up my mind and swam tirelessly until I reached the shore. Taking a deep breath, I exhaled and felt a sense of relief. Stepping onto land for the first time, I was unsteady and awkward. I found myself on a private beach, unaware of its nature, but I instinctively walked in a specific direction. There were many two-legged creatures laughing and wandering around with minimal clothing. I removed my fake tail, which had been a part of me for so long, and attempted to stand like any other person. It was challenging, akin to relearning how to swim in reverse. Gradually, I managed to take shaky but determined steps. I was fascinated by everything around me. This must be how it feels to be complete. I had never experienced anything like it in all my years. I was at the beach, surrounded by everything, the sand, the sun, the people. My wet hair and soaked clothes were evidence of my encounter with the sea. With bewildered eyes, I met an extraordinary seal. Perhaps I understood her, as if she was the embodiment of magic itself. She allowed me to breathe underwater and gave me the ability to communicate with land creatures. The wise and talkative seal found much amusement in my embarrassment, scolding me for lying on the ground like a foolish human. I protested, declaring that I was not a human, but a mermaid. Confused, the seal remarked on my different appearance compared to others. She couldn't comprehend why I looked like a human with hands and legs but lacked their intelligence. She invited me to explore the human world, sharing stories of only good humans who fed and petted her. I was shocked by her words. What was she even talking about? Day by day, I grew more confident in my human form. I ventured onto the land, discovering its secrets and eating mermaid food while the seal helped me with dressing in human clothes. However, despite adapting to life on land, a part of me always longed to be in the sea, with the family that had raised me. It was now my turn to decide my destiny. Would I remain on dry land and uncover the secrets of my past, or would I return to the ocean, the only family I had ever known? As I wandered around and engaged in small talk with the local seal, or rather someone, caught my attention. He was a young man, slightly older than me, with a friendly smile and curious eyes that mirrored my own. I felt inexplicably drawn to him and found myself following him along the beach. Our first encounter felt like something out of a storybook. He noticed me trailing behind him and turned, his expression a mix of surprise and interest. After a brief moment of silence, he introduced himself as Maisie. I was captivated by his gentle nature and the stories hidden in his eyes. Who was this human, and would he be as monstrous as we believed? Maisie was understandably shocked by my appearance, my wet clothes, my lack of knowledge in human interactions, and my apparent confusion. He asked where I was from, a question I wasn't prepared to answer. Instead, I told him I was new to the island and hadn't explored much of it. Maisie took the opportunity to offer me a tour, and I eagerly accepted. Our days together were filled with adventures and laughter. Maisie worked as a lifeguard on the beach, and he showed me the wonders of the island, its lush forests, hidden coves, and towering cliffs. We hiked through trails, surrounded by the green canopy above, a stark contrast to the open ocean skies I was used to. He even taught me how to climb trees, an exhilarating and slightly terrifying experience. I remember the rough bark under my hands and the view from high above the ground. We spent afternoons at the local market, a bustling and colorful place. Maisie seemed to know everyone and introduced me as his friend from afar. We tried different foods, including roots and pastries with sweet, unfamiliar flavors. I even tasted drinks that fizzed and tickled my nose. One of my favorite activities was swimming. Although I couldn't reveal my true form to Maisie, swimming in the ocean with him brought me joy. It felt different to swim with legs. The water was no longer a part of me but a separate entity. Maisie was a skilled swimmer, but he couldn't match my speed and grace in the water, a secret I kept to myself with a smile. Evenings were spent sitting on the beach, watching the sun set below the horizon. Maisie would talk about his life on the island, his dreams, and aspirations. He loved his job as a lifeguard. In those moments, I felt a connection to this land, to Maisie, and a sense of belonging that was both unfamiliar and comforting. Surprisingly, humans weren't as bad as we had thought. However, as my bond with Maisie deepened, so did the conflict within me. The more I immersed myself in the human world, the stronger the pull of the ocean and my mermaid family became. I knew I couldn't keep my true identity a secret forever, and the thought of revealing the truth to Maisie filled me with fear. Would he understand, or would he see me as a curiosity, a creature from a fairy tale rather than a person with a heart and soul? As I lay on the beach next to him, gazing at the twinkling stars in the night sky, I realized I stood at a crossroads. I faced the most significant decision of my life, a choice that would change everything, not just for me but for Maisie and the world I had grown to love. After several months of living among humans and experiencing life on land with Maisie, a deep longing for my mermaid family began to tug at my heart. The memories of my adoptive parents, Alora and Taz, in the underwater city grew stronger each day. As much as I cherished my time with Maisie and the new world I had discovered, I knew I needed to return to my aquatic home, at least to share my experiences and see my beloved family again. With a heavy heart, I bid farewell to Maisie, promising to return. He was puzzled by my sudden decision but respected it with a sad understanding. I plunged into the ocean, feeling the familiar embrace of the water enveloping me and guiding me back to the Mermaid City. The reunion with my mermaid family was emotional. Alora and Taz greeted me with tears and open arms, relieved and overjoyed to see me safe. I recounted my adventures on land, the sights, sounds, and the connection I felt with Maisie and the human world. They listened intently, their expressions filled with wonder and concern. During those moments, I realized how much I had changed. The ocean, once my entire world, now felt like just one part of a larger existence. My heart was torn between two worlds, two families, two lives. It was in those moments that I made a decision, one that would shape the rest of my life. I decided to return to the land, to live among humans, and explore the possibilities of a life with Maisie. But this time, I wouldn't be alone in my journey. Upon sharing my decision with Alora and Taz, they expressed their concerns but understood the depth of my feelings. They offered their support and decided to accompany me on this new adventure. Together, we swam to the surface, our tails shimmering in the sunlight as we breached the water's surface. Maisie stood on the shore, his eyes widening in awe and disbelief as he witnessed the emergence of 3 mermaids from the sea. I introduced Maisie to Alora and Taz, explaining their role in my life and the love they had shown me. Maisie, though taken aback at first, quickly accepted them with the same open-mindedness and kindness that had drawn me to him. It was a testament to his character and the depth of his understanding. From that day forward, we formed an unlikely but beautiful family. Alora, Taz, and I took on human forms, blending into society while cherishing our mermaid heritage in our hearts. Maisie and I continued to explore the island and build a life together, deepening our bond with each passing day. We faced challenges and triumphs, always supporting one another, and sharing the wonders of both the land and sea. Over time, our story spread throughout the island, captivating the imaginations of the locals. Some dismissed it as a mere legend or a tale told to children, while others marveled at the possibility of a world where mermaids and humans coexisted. Our presence challenged the barriers of belief and opened minds to the wonders that lay beyond the familiar. As the years passed, Maisie and I grew older together, our love enduring the tests of time. We witnessed changes in the world around us, advancements in technology, shifts in society, and a growing awareness of the importance of preserving the natural beauty of our planet. We became advocates for the ocean, using our unique perspectives to raise awareness about marine conservation and the need to protect our fragile ecosystems. Our story became a symbol of hope and unity, a reminder that despite our differences, we can find common ground and build bridges between worlds. People from all walks of life flocked to the island, eager to catch a glimpse of the mermaids who had chosen to call it home. The island became a sanctuary, a place where humans and merfolk could coexist in harmony, sharing their knowledge, stories, and dreams. And so, our tale continues to inspire generations, reminding them that love knows no boundaries, and that sometimes, the most extraordinary connections can be found in the unlikeliest of places. Thank you and see you soon.